Hello and welcome to Lauren's Travels. Today is a special video. I am doing a collaboration with my friends Kayla and Mark Allen over at Happily Ever After on which cities in the USA we are most excited to visit as soon as we're able to travel. I just got my vaccine and I am so ready to book my next trip. So it's definitely going to be to one of these 5 places mentioned here in this video. Now, as I'm going through the cities, if you have any recommendations on where I should visit or what I should eat or anything relating to the cities in this video, please leave it down in the comments. I'd love to add more to my itinerary for my visits. So here we are. We're going to start with my number 5, which is Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is the closest out of all of these destinations, so it might end up being my next travel destination. Savannah is a very old city, so you know what that means. Ghosts. There's a lot of rumors about buildings being haunted, like Moon River Brewing, so I'm definitely going there to check out their food and brews and maybe see a ghost. They have a lot of ghost tours here, so that could be an option for me when I go. Forsyth Park looks so beautiful. I'd love to just walk around there. Maybe get an ice cream at Leopold's, which has been there since 1919. The architecture is another big reason why I want to visit Savannah. I'm not an architecture pro per se, but I can take in a pretty building when I see one. I heard a visit to Savannah isn't complete without visiting River Street, so that's definitely on my list of must-dos. And I'll have to bring a car because I want to visit Tybee Island, which I heard is about 20-ish minutes away from Savannah. I know I'm from Florida and I should be used to beaches, but I like to see other beaches in different parts of the world. And if I go to Savannah, I'd love to stay in like an old Victorian house. I've seen some on Airbnb, so if you've stayed somewhere that you recommend, definitely know down in the comments where I should stay when I go to Savannah. Savannah is home to SCAD, which is the art college there in town, so I'm sure there's lots of fun art galleries to explore and take in on the weekends. Now listen, I really want to visit Mackinac Island, but I've been wanting to visit Mackinac for a long time, and it's kind of out of the way of everything, so the most logical spot for me is going to be Detroit. My husband's family's from Michigan, so I'd love to go with them to a Tigers game at Comerica Park one day. Detroit is home to so much history, including the Motown Museum and the Henry Ford Museum, so I'd love to visit both of these just to take in the history of the city. I also want to see the Detroit Public Library. Third Man Records is also a must-do for me when I go to Detroit. Third Man Records was started by Jack White. They have a vinyl record pressing plant. It's also a record store, and they have performances inside of there as well. If you're looking for travel inspiration on Detroit, I definitely recommend Anthony Bourdain's Special. I've been to California before, but I've only visited Anaheim and Los Angeles, so visiting San Francisco is high up on my list. Now, you guys know I'm a Disney fan, so obviously I want to visit the Walt Disney Family Museum that is out in San Francisco. The Walt Disney Family Museum was opened and operated by the Disney family, and there's so much cool memorabilia in there, as well as models of the original Disneyland. I just want to see all of it. I'm a huge sucker for Disney history, so this is definitely a must-do when I go to San Francisco. Another thing I really want to do is ride in an iconic cable car all the way through downtown San Francisco. Checking out the Fisherman's Wharf is also high up on my list because I love sourdough bread and I definitely want one of those soup bread bowls. Seeing the Golden Gate Bridge would be fun, but I really want to go to Golden Gate Park, which is located right near the Golden Gate Bridge. From what I've seen on California Through My Lenses YouTube channel, it looks like a beautiful park, especially that Dutch windmill that's there and the Japanese tea garden. It seems like it would be just so beautiful to walk around in. The Golden Gate Park is actually the 3rd most visited park in the United States, so I have to see what all the fuss is about. The Palace of Fine Arts is also on my list because just look at that architecture. It doesn't even feel like you're in America at all. And my trip to San Francisco wouldn't be complete without visiting Chinatown. I just want to stroll through all of the shops and get all of the candies and snacks that I can. You can even visit the Fortune Cookie Museum and put your own fortune inside of your cookie. My top 2 places have a few things in common, so let's see if you can figure out why these are my 2 top destinations, starting with New Orleans. Now you know I'm going to be stopping at Café du Monde for some coffee and beignets. The Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo is definitely a must-do for me, and I've even thought about doing a voodoo history tour of the city. For inspiration on New Orleans spots to visit, I definitely watched some Grim Life Collective videos here on YouTube, so check them out if you haven't already. They go to a lot of spooky cool spots, and I love watching their channel. Mardi Gras World would be a must-do for me. It's a building filled with all the Mardi Gras floats from different parades of the past, and as a theme park lover, I just want to see all of those things up close. Another must-do for me is the Carousel Bar, which I definitely heard about from the Travel Channel. It's inside of a hotel that's also beautiful on its own, but the Carousel Bar is said to be on a haunted floor of the hotel. And yes, the Carousel Bar does move around slowly, so it's like you're at an amusement park while having some drinks. The Garden District seems like a beautiful spot to visit, as well as the Lafayette Cemetery. A lot of the tombs are above ground because of flooding in the area. And New Orleans is home to jazz, so I have to go to a jazz club, probably at Preservation Hall, since I heard that is one of the more popular ones. Beignets, botanical gardens, voodoo, jazz clubs. New Orleans is definitely number 2 on my must-see cities here in the United States. I've never been to Salem, and it's always been a spot that I have to check out. First of all, the Witch House is a must-do. It was built in the 1620s, and there's a memorial for slain witches that you can walk through and pay homage. Speaking of witches, there's a Bewitched statue, which I have to see in person. It's also the home for Hocus Pocus, so there's a lot of filming locations you can visit, like Max Dennison's house and Allison's house. The town also plays heavily into its history, so there's fun attractions all around. I have to check out Crowhaven Corner, which is one of the first witch-dedicated shops in the city. My plan would be to go off-season before Halloween because from videos I've seen, the lines can get pretty long for some of the shops, and I'm not trying to wait in lines. Another spot I want to visit in Salem is the House of Seven Gables, which inspired Nathaniel Hawthorne's story, and I think it would be cool to just take a tour, if I could, inside of the house. Salem is definitely number 1 on my bucket list, and I really hope I can visit, if not this year, then next year. And if you're like me and like to visit places that are a little bit weird, then definitely look into Atlas Obscura. It's one of my favorite websites to find new and interesting places to visit in each city I go to. And that was my list of top 5 places in the United States I'd like to go to as soon as possible. And don't forget to check out Kayla and Mark Allen's video to see if we share any similar cities. I'll see you next time on Lauren's Travels for part 2 of our travel bucket list collaboration video.